Okay, I believe we are live. And let me check the microphone. Okay, I'm not sure which microphone it's picking up. I hope it's picking up the one I want it to. And this is a live channeling from at Channeled Teachings. I'm just learning. This is my very first one going live. And I'm not sure what to do with the background. Sorry, I left the light on in the kitchen. Maybe I can change that a little bit. Uh, well, lot of things. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go turn off that light. I'm used to Google Meet. Okay, so I am Reverend Terry Newland of EnlightenedHumanity.1. I have been a channel for Ascended Master Dwal Kul since 1980. We are a group that is progressively processing enlightenment. Many of the members are enlightened and just kind of increasing things like telepathic third eye center. I've been this way, born this way, very psychic. I can see dead people and hear dead people and stuff. And so it became natural to become a channel. In the recent world events, I, as a U.S. citizen, am very concerned about what's going on. And as a spiritual teacher, I tend to not take sides. You know, I'm very neutral, up the middle, follow the Constitution, happen to be, you know, a Christian, not a churchgoer, but I walk with God. Jesus is my brother. When I got married, I married a Jewish man. Just a little background. To be a clear voice channel without interruptions requires that you put your own personal things aside. Pardon me, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I have a cat right here that just sneezed. Anyway, actually, maybe I can turn the camera. There's Dwal Kul in the background. I'm a little bit messy in my motor home because that's how I live now. So no channel or predictor, tarot card reader, or whatever is 100% accurate. It's just not possible. You can be close to accurate. But again, and especially since I consciously channel, I have to really just put me somewhere in the back burner and let DK do the talking. So political, I do want to speak about that for a bit. Personally, I'm registered as an independent, mostly because I don't fit in either box, Republican or Democrat. I'm a bit of both, quite frankly. And I live in a red state, Arizona. Most of the people there that are doing excellent jobs that are elected officials are Republicans. So I want to support them. This last election, quite frankly, I was very upset that it came down to two old white men again. I thought that was a mistake on both parties. So I was for Kennedy, and I do like what he's doing for health and the environment, which disagrees with most of my Democrat friends and family members. So you know, I'm a bit everywhere. I'm a free thinker. I'm going to make up my own mind, decide what's true, and so. You know, we have President Trump. He said America first. And now somehow we're bombing Iran. So, as a psychic, I hear a lot of what I would call etheric chatter, and I get pictures. Sometimes I actually hear a voice talking about more bombing, or I knew that military equipment was being moved before it was announced, for example, on news shows. So, because I can see it and I can feel it. And Um, Part of what happens naturally when you listen to channeling is that you start getting more third eye development, more telepathic. And the way it sounds when you're in that energy field where you're picking up things is sort of like somebody's got a radio turned on faintly in the background. Maybe it's not quite exactly tuned to the station, so you're hearing kind of the kind of stuff. Um, well, it is what it is. And then sometimes I actually hear, well, I'll hear people say my name, and then I'll say yes. And then sometimes that ends the conversation. Sometimes I'll keep talking. Um, I fear for the future for all of us, quite frankly. I disagree with war as a way to get to peace, just a personal thing. I, at age 5, wished for world peace and didn't know what it was, but that's what's really in my heart. So I'm going to set myself aside here and let DK come in. I channel with my eyes closed. I'll get a nice drink of water first. Because it does dehydrate the body a bit. Sometimes I need electrolytes as well. Plus, I live in the desert. So there you go. All right, here's Dwal. Dwal, cool, here. Tashi de Lake. Tashi de Lake is namaste or greetings or from my highest self to your highest self, hello. I see the light in you. And it is a classic Tibetan greeting. As I'm also known as the Tibetan from the Theosophical Society and other places. So I channel through various beings around the planet. I've written books through various beings. I've had students do compilations of the work. I came through Alice A. Bailey for a series of books with indigo covers. The current world focus is helping with the increase of frequencies on the planet. So the Schumann resonance, for example, is not as solid and stable as it was. The frequencies are changing. And as they reach the higher frequencies, it changes the body, changes the health. You've got the solar flares coming, you've got breaches in your atmosphere, you've got, in my personal opinion, way too many things floating around above the planet that all have to come back down at some point, and way too much nuclear capability. So that brings me to, and I don't, as the channel kind of put in the intro there, I don't take sides. I just say what I'm seeing. And then you can synthesize, pay attention, use your own free will to create a preferred outcome, for the highest good of all. Um, so rolling back on the Iran thing, or Iran, I should say, the Tulsi was saying there's no real threat there. And if you look up, what it takes to enrich uranium to the point of nuclear capability, it's quite a long process. Did they have secret bunkers and things? Yes. But were they at that level? We don't see it. And then she rolled back her statement uh, as military equipment was being sent to the area by the U.S. and said, oh, yes, they do. So that justified the bombing. So when you like the atomic bomb, and I did write about the splitting of the atom decades ago. The well, before it happened, the atmosphere. Again, frequency. You can see the change in the atmosphere and the frequency when uranium is released into the atmosphere. So that's not what we're seeing in Iran. Now, what I am currently seeing is that this has really stirred the pot, so to speak. So almost from not quite Israel, past Gaza, a little bit east of that, I see this weaving of energy going all the way to Iran. So those countries collaborating, commiserating, collaborating. I see another shot of energy between Moscow and Jerusalem. Looks more like a beam of light that sort of pulses down at Jerusalem, and then it pulses down again. It's like a streak. The other first energy that I mentioned looks more like a barbed wire that's twisted a little bit, indicating harm. Well, they both indicate harm. And then looking again at just how much of the pot got stirred, we see between North Korea and China another string, or this one almost looks more like a DNA helix or something. So it's again that we're collaborating, we're weaving something, weaving a story or weaving a strategy, commingling, intertwining. So that's the initial observation. Then we're going into the US and Canada, and I think it mostly a little bit into Canada, the southern borders of Canada. Pardon me, we've got cat fur. I see literally like rockets or something flying all over. There's several different patterns, several different targets being ignited. So the potential is there for war on US soil or something of that nature. And again, these flashes of light and then a poof explosion. So make no mistake, enemies are embedded in all of the major countries. They've been there for a long time. They're well developed. There are plans in place in case. And so it's very much looking like many people all over the planet, because you've got the Russia-Ukraine thing going, and Israel, Gaza, and it goes on and on. So there's the frequency changes are heating things up, and it's kind of gone from, steaming a little bit on the stove to a rapid boil, and something has to come out of that rapid boil. So the will of the people, the free will choice. So one thing that is God-given, and I include, I was a Tibetan Buddhist in many incarnations, so I'm including Buddha, Allah, and all of the recognitions of a creator. And in the U.S., original inhabitants, the Native American ways as well, looking at the gift of free will choice. So it is a collective consciousness that designs what's going to go on. Keep in mind that fear and love are at opposite ends of the spectrum. They're literally, opposite. So if you are in a state of fear, You welcome in what you fear the most. If you're in a state of love, you cannot invite the fear. It's like walking into a dark room and flipping the light on. Now the light is on, the love is there, and it um, forgive the pun, trumps the dark. So your um, frequency of love is 528 hertz. And all over YouTube, you can just type in healing frequency or love frequency or something like that and find lots of different frequency healings. I would encourage you to broadcast them because you're putting that vibration in the air, you're putting it in the ethers. From there, you can kind of beam it from your third eye or beam it from your heart chakra to other places that need the love frequency. Keep in mind, these aren't just humans, you've got livestock, wildlife, the earth itself, the water. Water is life force, and it's being irradiated and nuked, and the weather patterns changing. The earth is very unstable right now. So, free will choice. I choose peace. Keep it very simple. I choose peace. I choose love. I choose wellness. I choose safety. I choose protection. Keep your free will choices vigilant. That will help quite a bit. And the more people that join together for world prayer, world peace, any worldly focus. Some groups will say we're going to do this at noon every day for 5 minutes, or whatever it is. If you want to be active with those groups, think in terms of world service. This is way past personal now. It went from personal to now we're in a global event. And it is all about trying to control the money of the planet. And the U.S. has been an enemy for quite some time, and gotten friendly here and there and rebuilt some relationships. But now the U.S. is very much an enemy to most unless there's a lot of money in it for them. So it's about money, not about the people of the United States. So I would encourage you again, use your individual consciousness for free will choice. Move into collective consciousness and demand peace. You're a republic. When you pledge allegiance to your flag, you acknowledge and to the republic for which it stands. And then within that republic, you have democracy. So the people elect the officials and tell the officials what they want them to do. It, Congress is supposed to declare an act of war, not having sneaky ways of getting around commander-in-chief executing a military action without congressional approval. So get back into the design of true government in your country. And then within the other countries, they've got their own designs. Some are oligarchies, some are dictatorships, and whatever else they've got going. That's their, if those people want to change that outcome, that's their business, so to speak. So you work in groups. So everything right now is heavily ignited. That's a concern. We're trying again with frequency healing to calm things down. But when you're when there's this much chatter on the ethers about retaliation, you're in a very dangerous position. So with that being said, I'm going to say make sure you've got drinking water, medicines, stuff you need for children, pets, elderly, etc. Make sure you're stocked up because things could get interesting. Again, spiritual hierarchy is trying to calm things down, but you have other astrological influences. Um, and sometimes, well, they do affect humanity. So too many triggers going on right now, I guess is how I would put it. And a lot of instability that includes mental instability. All right, dear ones, as always, thank you and my love to you. Okay, there you go. My first live one, just us here. That's fine. Short notice. We'll see what happens. Thanks, everybody, and like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.